for this December 1st, 2025. If I can get roll call, please.
Commissioner Schwab.
Here.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Here.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Commissioner Bittner.
Here.
Chairman Bakken.
Here. Approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Bittner.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bakken.
Failed to vote.
Next item up is consideration of the July 7th, 2025 Weed Board minutes.
Move we approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bittner.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bakken.
Yes, motion carried. This is public comment for the December 1st Weed Board at 4 p.m. today. There, I got it in for you. Public comment restricted to Burleigh County residents and landowners. This is public comment. First call for public comment. Second call for public comment. Third and final call for public comment. Public comment is now closed. Moving on to our next item, County Weed Officer Darren Johnson, the 2025 annual spraying update and discussion. Darren?
Yeah.
You wanna pull that mic down?
I got your pack. Sorry.
There.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. In your packet that I provided for you guys today, just a summary is basically what the first part is here on how the year went. It went really well, but we can start out with the chemical sales purchases and chemical application. I'll basically read it back to you, or if you haven't read it, just kind of run through it here. Our chemical sales on the private landowners, we had 64 sales there, and the contracted applications for the application on private land, it was 52 applications there. The chemical applied on the ROWs and the gravel pits was High Noon, Tordon, and with Liberate, the surfactant. We had really good spraying this year. There's one properties owned by Burleigh County that we did applicate the Milestone and Freelix combination with Liberate. That was on our county section. That's up by Wing off of 214th. Avenue up there. It had been getting grazed. So we felt that we best not go in there with the High Noon. We went in there with the Milestone and Freelix. It was mainly wormwood infestation in there. Very good kill on it. A lot of younger stuff when we were there, so it was very good that way. And we're going to be going up there and doing the north end. The grazing was down a little bit on that particular, on the south end of that property. That's why we used the Milestone. But this next year, like I said, we'll go up on the north end, more up on the foothill area and meander up there and see what we have there. We don't have as much wormwood in that area. Mainly, I think, is because of the traffic coming in. That's where we do stock. The highway department, or Burleigh County Highway, stores their rock piles there. So there's a little bit of, there's some seeds coming in that way, and that's why I think we had that infestation there. I did purchase chemical this fall here now. We got everything we're going to need except for maybe a little Freelix next year. But I purchased the Tordon, the High Noon, Milestone, and Liberate. If you look at the deal there, you can see that the Tordon was up $1 per gallon, High Noon was down, and Milestone was down because that's basically, they throw that sale in the fall so that they don't have to carry it over themselves. So, and then the Liberate was up $1.30 a gallon there, but it's still overall a $3.20 savings for the county yet by purchasing in the year before. And then let's see here. Yeah, and then like I said, maybe this next spring here, we'll look at what the Freelix prices are running. Because I'm talking with Bill Walker, the rep from Nutrien. he didn't think there was going to be much of a fluctuation, so I'm gambling on just getting it next spring instead of having that on our overhead in the storage area or at the distribution center over winter. And then there's I have here that as far as purchasing some Roundup, I have an idea that to run past you guys after a little bit here. I'll mention that a little later. Is there any questions up to this point?
Yeah, Darren, what percentage of our yearly totals for chemicals are we able to get ahead on? How much can you store? So
Right now, it's full. I mean, what I have for area now it's full.
okay, so how much of that is? We'll go through all that, but how much more would you have to buy? So are we at 40%, 60% for what our summer usage is?
Right now, from what we use this year on all the ROWs, the NDDOT stuff, we should have that amount already with
Okay.
this purchase. That's what because I figured out and I went through everything that we used this year, and we should be right there. Providing, the new area with the NDDOT, we weren't able to do that 9-mile stretch along the interstate there because of the new construction. But because that ground is disturbed, we'll have some weeds there to have to control this year, of course, but hopefully we start looking at a percentage of less chemical because of a job well done. So, but yes, the purchasing of the chemical this year should take care of everything we're going to need for next year.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, where do we store our chemicals at? And second question, what's the shelf life on those? How long can you hold them?
Oh, the chemical's fine. As far as shelf life, I mean, it can be years,
Okay.
3, 4, 5 years, whatever.
Okay.
Right now, we're up at the old, the County East Sheriff's Department.
Oh, okay.
That's where we're at, in that blue
Okay.
building up on
Yep.
top there.
Yep.
Any others? No? All right, we'll move on to number 6 here, just the spraying season. We did have some complaints, which was suspected to have. Most were just in the bordering the city limits, including the lots that hadn't been built on, and acreages that have the animals next to each other, 40 acres, 20 acres, whatever, and that's mainly what the complaints were on. A lot of it was just the wormwood and thistle infestation. Around the border of the city limits, our contractors are, they store their dirt, their dirt piles just off of the side of where they're developing at the time. Well, they get a lot of weeds in that area. But speaking with the several different contractors, I know all of them from my background with construction, all were nice to work with, got in there, took care of stuff, and the people around them areas were really happy to see it. The dirt piles themselves if you got kochia on them, which you do, it's got such a resistance. Handling that is very difficult to get a 100% kill on it because there's so much resistance. But the one in particular, there's a lady that has built there, and she was the first house in that area. So she had a lot of complaint about it. But after I explained it to her, the situation with it, and the contractor, we were able to just get everything smoothed out there. So things are good there. The ones that are, evidently going to be harder to get or get a hold of in a sense or get a response back from are the people that are out of state and or live out of town. They're just a little more difficult, but I only had 2 that I wasn't able to complete or whatever this year, but they're definitely ones I'm going to be looking at for this next year, the 2026 season. We had a complaint where we had a little bit of spray drift concern. Greenhead Spraying and I got a hold of South Dakota State Lab, And with Chris, we went up there and we took samples of the plants for which they felt were chemically damaged by. We sent them in. It did come back that there was traces of chemical that we are spraying. And so we worked that all out, panned it all out. The landowner's happy, everybody's happy. It worked out really good that way. And then number 3 here. We got sensitive areas, of course, with the ROWs. We're marking them out with our spray sync Android systems, so we're taking care of those just fine. I'm working with the a couple of the landowners. They're really into they really want to cover their area by themselves, spraying them ROWs. I'm okay with that, so they're doing that, but I'm also going up and checking to make darn sure that the applications are fine, you know, that they are getting weed control. Then landowners this year with the contracted spraying had a lot of good feedback there because they know their property, they know their weeds, they know where they have their infestations and stuff of these noxious weeds. So they really like that. The spurge end of it was really good in the sense that you go in, you spray your adult plants, and you get your young plants, but you always have some percentage of regrowth in the fall. I had a few guys, not as many as I'd liked it seen, but they came and had a second application in the fall. And that made a big world of difference, actually. And then we have the guys, the self-applicators, moved them, some of them I moved, or were able to move from Milestone into the High Noon. And they're happy with that. And plus, I ordered in 1 gallon jugs of Liberate surfactant. People, 90% of them didn't even know what a surfactant was. They had no idea. So they're buying these gallons at our cost. They're not saving anything on it, but at least they're getting it. And there's been a really good feedback on that. And then let's see where here Burleigh County here, the weed board here, or Chris and us, we applicated for the NDDOT highways. Their budget was $30,000, and the final billing was $30,493.94. And I had called in prior when we were getting up close to that $30,000 and had the okay to go over the 30. So they're real happy with what we got done on the interstate. We did have an area where, with the highway construction on I-94, they're moving some stuff down closer to Highway 10. A lot of weed infestation on them areas, so I called and went in there and we sprayed that to control that and that was part of their, that was included with their final billing. So we'll see where that goes with that pile yet. And then just with the North Dakota extension, I was asked 3 times to show up there and do a presentation at their recertification, chemical recertifications at the 4-H building. So that was kind of neat. It was interesting to meet some guys there and get some input on and stuff like that from some other people. And then, is there any questions pertaining to that section? Yes.
I got vetoed on this by Darren. No, excuse me. I got vetoed by Darren for this year on the DOT right-of-ways, and I'm thinking they should be paying a little bit for our services. You know, like 4% or something like that, because we're using our GPS, his man hours. So do you think it's a good idea or not?
Darren, are the man hours not, so the $30,000, is it just for chemical?
No, that's the chemical and Chris.
Okay.
Chris is, that's him by the truck, and along the interstate, there's 2 people in that particular pickup when they're out spraying, because you need one to drive, run the sprayer, one for eyes, especially pulling up in and out of the interstate sections and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just the chemical and the application.
So are our costs for that, we're not taking a loss or?
We're not taking a loss because they're paying the chemical and that right now. But, I mean, do I go out and I inspect them areas, certain areas along there? Yes. But it's kind of like on the roundabout, if I'm down in like Christina, township or something on the way back, I'll take and stop, go down, look at, the areas where you can definitely see where we've hit with and see the application on it. But, I mean, do I put some time into it? Yes. But I guess it's up to the board if we were to add a percentage to it or
So are we in
whatnot.
line with other counties on the DOT side, on contracts?
I mean, some of them do it, some of them don't. I mean, it's kind of a mismatched deal. I mean,
I'm just kind of curious what the process looks like. If they have a $30,000 budget, then, how do you manage that budget so that we're made whole?
well, that's with the recording of the spray sheets. And with the androids, we know what we're putting down for chemical, per day, say.
As far as staff time and stuff, though?
Yes, that's all recorded
Wear and
with their.
tear on vehicles?
Yes, because we have to have the wind, everything else all on these spray sheets every now and again.
Commissioner Bitter?
Thank you. I think it makes sense. I'm not sure about that veto part, but it makes sense for us to cover the time. that we have. That's not an unreasonable ask.
Right.
I'm
The
not,
state of North Dakota doesn't send inspectors out to job sites and whatnot without getting covered.
Right.
And
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think
a
that's
lot of
unreasonable.
money, but to cover his time
Right.
and, he spends time on the GPS in his office, throwing all this data together, so.
I think that's fair. I think hopefully you have a bit of an idea of the time you spent doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can explain that to them.
Yeah, going into this next year, absolutely. When it was brought up, we were already coming into that spraying
Sure.
season. They already had their budget figured out, what they had for their spraying and everything. So I didn't veto it. I basically just didn't know how to go about
Okay.
telling them that right at this time, at that time, and, pull that out from underneath, rug out from underneath them
My
at that
opinion
time.
is to work out something
Yes.
fair with them,
Right,
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner
do we have a contract with them at all?
yes.
Is there anything in there about that?
Not that I'm aware of or that I've read, no.
There
Okay.
isn't.
Well, let's drag out that
No.
contract and look at it, see what we can do, because I think we should be charging them something.
That's something I can look into.
Your time is very valuable. What you take away to do their stuff, you can't do the other stuff, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
and if some of the other counties are doing it that way, then reach
I-
out to them and see how.
Yeah, I'll
they
do that.
manage
I'll
contract.
check in, whether
I
it's the
think
more
the key
counties
there
or.
is just to be fair.
Yeah, 'Cause I mean, Ward County, Williams County, Stutzman County, all of them, I've never brought that up to them or it never dawned on me to ask any of those questions when I do visit with these guys and kind of pick their brains on certain things,
Well,
but.
I'd visit with them ahead of time, give them a chance to adjust the contract accordingly.
Yeah.
not before
Well,
they-
see where it's all at, I'm sure there's gonna be some differentiation in that, but if, whatever it is, I can bring it to the board later and we'll figure something there.
Do we let Darren just go and negotiate something and come back?
Sure.
I think so.
Yeah, I think
that's
fine.
He's the guy that knows.
You know who to speak to.
Yeah,
Try
absolutely.
not to break the state.
No, as long as we're in line with the other counties that are doing it that way, then we'll be fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I know I had a call from somebody that lives out at Hawktree in that development out there. Do we do that development, and if we do we charge them, or do we just send them to somebody else, or what?
Oh, Hawktree, okay.
I'm
Hawktree-
not picking on that one in
No,
particular, I'm
but
talking about,
with housing developments, there are certain ones that do have their own stipulations, their own, their HOAs, stuff like that. I've had a lot of calls from Hawktree, which I understand their concern for noxious weeds. But where it comes in is they're only allowed to mow down so far, and then you have your, down at the bottom of your
Yep.
draws. That is called a conservation area
right.
according to their HOA. It says no spraying, no mowing, no nothing. That's right in their contract. So we don't do anything up there. Nothing at all up there. The roadways, like 1804, whatever, yes, that area we do that. So,
Hang on.
yes, sir.
Did you just say they have a homeowner's association that specifies no spraying?
Yeah, in those drainage areas, there's no
They're green
spray.
areas.
Conservation area.
They're
They're
green areas,
conservation
they're built
areas
in
there,
when
yep.
they-
Well, I don't need to be the one to point it out to you, but state law requires control of noxious weeds.
Correct. And
So-
that's why I mentioned to them, and I
Okay.
pointed that they go to their HOA and work it out amongst themselves to how they want to take care of that down in them areas. Because for us to go in there, and then the other tricky part up there is that some of them have an HOA, then there's like a street with 5 houses on, that don't have, that they're not part of the HOA. When the second realm of building went on. So, I mean, and most of which was because of like the golf course down there. They had infestation of different noxious weeds down there, and I worked with Eric, was the gentleman that, I don't know if he's there, and I tried calling him a couple times this year, and I never got a hold of him, but I went down and helped him work out a spraying system and whatnot, so he could do more coverage for himself down in that area. He did do it. They actually mowed some of it down and let the regrowth come, and he did spray that. So, I mean, I've worked with him on that too. But it's also a private entity. So I'm kind of, I can give them what I have for information and help them out and whatnot, but that's kind of where the noxious weeds are going up in there because it just drifts up, up and into them
Right.
cul-de-sac
That's true.
areas.
I just want to reiterate, though, you have an enforcement responsibility also. And I don't think that we should just say, if they have a homeowners association with a conservation easement, that they don't have to control noxious weeds, because that's
No.
not consistent with state law. So I know that neighbors always have a problem with weeds coming off of somebody else's property. Nobody appreciates that. And
Right.
I would like to see you just make sure that you're enforcing the control,
Great. I am. I'm doing that.
Okay.
So, give me a second here, man. Get my notes down so I don't forget. Are there any more questions in that area or in that section?
Yeah.
Section number 6?
Yeah, sure. Not necessarily relative to any particular thing there, but one of the things that happened around my area this year is that apparently we sprayed in my area probably first, and then a lot of the weeds, in particular the Canada thistle, didn't get sprayed because they weren't visible yet. And then by the time you came around in the fall, it was too late. They were seeding out and blowing all around the area. So I would like to know if you've thought about that and what you can do differently to address that.
Well, with that situation, whether we're in the northeast corner, the northwest corner and start, we're going to have that to a certain extent. This year, instead of what we require is 2 spray trucks and a backup. We actually ran around with 3 trucks this year to get ahead of everything, to get a better application down. On our Androids, we are able to mark areas of concern or more concern, like if there's a infestation, a heavy infestation, we can put waypoints down and we go back to do those. We did do that this year. If they missed the spot there or if it wasn't there, there was no way of really knowing. But right around town is where we always start, at least get 1 truck to get around here because of the number of people that do see the weeds. And that's a lot of calls. So what I've been doing is we start out with 1 truck or 2 trucks, depending on time of year, wind and everything. We try to take care of right around the city limits, and then we move ourselves out. And getting back to these areas, starting out, like you said, you're going the weed, that particular weed, whether it's thistle or what, if it's not up at that time, there was no way to mark it. So, but we did come back and still drive the roads around here. If it was missed, it was missed. But we're doing what we can with what we got, in the time frame. I wish we could add another week week and a half at least this year to do a little bit more of the fall application, but, you know, you're gonna have that stuff anyway.
I guess my point is by the time it came around the second time, it was too late.
Right.
You know, and there's a really big area that was reseeded.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is our first year out there. Keep that in mind. It'll get better.
So would the solution for that be another truck earlier, or, because of the
You can't
timing?
hit it too early, and I mean, with thistle, it don't come in until July.
Right.
So we're already out there, like this year, we started I think it was the first week right in there, or right before the second week of May, we got out there, because we had that warmer weather in April, that 2 weeks of hot or warmer weather. The spurge came on really hard, and the grass was still low, so we got a real good, I mean, it was easy to identify the spurge. So we got out there, and that's what we tried, you know, getting after right away before it went to seed. So, I mean, the fall application, if, you know, I'm sure yours isn't the only spot that was missed or overlooked or whatever come onto the fall spraying, but, I mean, instead of 2 trucks out there, we do have 3 out there, and that's what we're applicating with, so we can get stuff covered. How they did it with 2 trucks before I have no idea, because with 3, it's a lot of work right now. And because it hadn't been, you know, the applications hadn't been, I mean, in prior years, like last couple of years or whatever, to end those OWs, well, now we're trying to catch up on that stuff. And we can, you know, we'll get onto it. We'll get her.
Anything else? Item 7.
Okay, item 7. This summer, I got a quick click in that thing. This summer, I attended a beetle collection out at Lake Chida at south of Glendolan, for those that don't know. It was put on by the NDDA, NDWCA organizations. I brought back several bags of beetles, which were brown and blacks, mainly there, and distributed them in areas in Burleigh County with a lot of spurge area, or larger spurge areas. And then also through NDDA, they went out and collected some red-headed beetles out in Montana. And I was able to get 6 containers of those, and I put them on some, certain areas also on some private landowners with permission. And I actually have one that says, man, I hope these things take off on this, because it might be a future collection site. Because like out at Glenolin, for the number of years that it's been a collection site, the spurge is gone. You know, it's getting less and less. So the NDDA with John, we're trying to look at a new site for collecting these things. And yeah, it's the landowners are, you know, we're interested in them, and that was a good thing there. And everything's GPS through John Mortensen through NDDA, so he has all the on the SKU, take pictures on the phone. SKU goes to him. He's got everything he needs for the disbursement of these beetles there. So, is there any questions as far as the biochemical?
Yes.
Okay.
When you release these little bugs, I assume you cannot spray them areas then?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
They're mainly put in the areas where there's a lot of trees. Like up at Hogue Island, up in that neck of the woods. There's some up there. There's 2 landowners that are north of there, down in the cottonwoods and stuff, down the river bottoms there that have them. And then also on the other side of 1804, there's the hogbacks going up in there. It's pretty rough up in there. It's hard to get anything up there to spray. And that's the landowner I reached out to. And that's where I dispersed mostly the red-headed beetles, so that, you know, there's no, you know, accidents up in there and stuff, so.
Do they survive the winter?
Yes.
North Dakota winter?
It depends a lot on the soil, with the brown and black beetles, because they eat on the root systems.
Okay.
And depending on how porous or non-porous the ground is, will determine on their, the rate of success of growth. Any other questions on number 7?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
If these survivors come out, what's the gestation period?
You'd have to ask them.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No, okay, well, I didn't think you did, but I didn't either.
You always want to learn something at these meetings.
Yes.
That's for darn sure.
It's when there's more of them. That's around that time. Any other questions on number 7, biochemical?
All right, item number 8.
Gravel pits, rules and regulations. We applicated on all the county pits that were hauled out of and/or were not touched this year. We had a couple that needed some fall application that, due to whatever reason, we applied the second application. The NWCA has formed a committee to look at changing, or not changing so much, but organizing the rules and regulations for the pits and rock piles and whatnot statewide. Because as of now, each county has their own, and it's very hard for, especially for the contractors that are coming in to take over an older pit or go back into a pit. There's, from county to county, that they don't know where they're going with these regulations because there's so many different ones. So what we're trying to do with the NWCA is to get a statewide run so that weed officers are on board. We know where everything's at there, and these other guys, the contractors coming into these pits. And I guess, well, I went out to Manning because most of the candidates for this new rule and regulation thing, they're mainly from out in the Ward County area, Stutzman County and Williams County. Because with the fracking or the oil rigs out there and stuff like that, they have a lot of stuff to go over there. But I was asked to be a part of that to kind of represent or whatever to the east side. So what I did there is Bill Walker's is also on this committee. They asked for what our regulations were and stuff, and so I gave a copy to that. Everybody did what they had, so we kind of conformed that to make what we have. But now in January here, we're going to, at the convention, that's when we'll bring it to all the people that are showing up there, all the weed officers and whatnot, and just get some input and stuff before we move forward with anything else on that.
That'll be here in Bismarck again this year, right?
Yes, yep, same thing, January,
First week somewhere.
yeah, it's the first week,
Yeah.
somewhere there, yeah. So, any questions pertaining to that one?
$2026.
Okay, with the topics for this here, we had, excuse me, we had some problems with the coin dispenser up at the Wing Rural Fire Department up there. It is an older mechanism up there. I did call Vern Manufacturing, who installed that back whenever it was. The reason for the problem we're having is that there's a tube that the coins go down into to trigger the machine. That tube dispenser is old, and the newer coins get lodged in there. And they've tried to tweak it and everything else. But speaking with the gentleman from Vern Manufacturing, they still have those coin slots and everything. This guy, he's an elderly guy. He told me how old I don't remember, but he actually remembers coming up here with his dad and doing that particular installation. And he's out of Gypsum, Kansas. But I spoke with Mayor Julie, Wing Mayor Julie Heim, about it, and we're using it up and stuff. Can they afford to do it? Probably, or whatever, but I'm just making a proposal that, for a $70 deal, if the weed board can just purchase it, or so we can, and then I'll be part of the installation of it anyway.
Just purchase it.
Just do it.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not gonna spend it, I'll, go up there and spend it
That, I
there
would,
and
I
not
would
have
just,
somebody know.
in a case like that, I would just talk that over with the commissioner that's on your portfolio, and I would just do it.
Well, I already knew his answer, but I got a yes this time. So anyway,
So is that new coin tube gonna facilitate newer coins, so there's
yeah,
not the
yes, yeah, it's long overdue, because there's guys that get the coin in there and then they try putting a stick down in there, then the stick breaks off, and then we're really in a mess, and then to find the maintenance guy down the road there, about 100 yards, can't find him usually, and so it turns into kind of chaotic, and then if they can't find him, then they have to drive, to Wilton or whatever to get water in their tanks, because there's nothing around there. So, and okay, that's a go. I'm gonna purchase that, because I got an overall, well, just about an anonymous yes.
Bring a receipt back.
Yeah.
Item number 2 here, the southeast portion of Burleigh County, meaning from Sterling, basically east, southeast down in there. We're finding ourselves coming back an awful long way to get water for our tanks to refill. I've talked to, I've discussed this with a few people out that way, but I checked with rural water even, or the central waters, to see, because they have their sites or their transition shacks basically out there, to whether we could fill there to make it a lot easier, and they do not want to or don't think it's feasible enough to go in and put a bunch of different gauges in and ball valves and all that stuff to align it up for us to fill. What my proposal is on that is if we could purchase a 1,000-gallon tank or twin 500s and have it at the Sterling shop. That'll save a lot of time back and forth, and it's there. We can, if the gates are locked on the weekend or whatever, if we could get keys, we'll work with that so we can go in and fill there. Speaking with Nicole, I talked to her about that as far as how we would manage the water usage and whatever, and she's like, well, we can go off of last year's billings or whatever, or put a separate meter in so we can regulate the water usage, and then the weed board would pay the highway department for that water usage.
So would you be looking for new or used tanks for that, and the racking that would have to go with that? Well,
it wouldn't even be racking for them, because we can buy 2 500s or 1,000. I'm not purchasing new. My goal is to save money and do it efficiently as we can. So used is where I'd really point towards there. And then you can buy inline electric pumps. So, we can have them just sitting on the ground and run water in that way.
Well, depending on the location though, then.
Well, it'll be
Not
closer
yet.
to the shop more than likely,
Okay.
but my
So
thing
there would
is-
be electrical there then?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Electrical's fine. It's just mainly the measuring of the water usage is what would be the main thing, I guess. And then with that too, having them sitting on the ground, not knowing what, or the guys, the highway department guys out there, personnel out there, if the tanks are set there and it's like, yep, that'll be fine. Then all of a sudden it's, well, no, it's not so, because we got to do this or that. I do have a trailer of my own that I would just put the tanks on. It can sit down there, and then when we're done using, drain everything, and we can just park it off in the trees for the winter. If it works out to be something that way.
I don't think you can use your equipment for county business. They got trailers up at the shop up there.
Yeah, but I don't want, that's the highway department stuff. As far as the weed board, I like to keep that, separate in a sense, myself. And the trailer I have's got new tires on it, and it's just sitting down there. Haven't moved it for 3 years. But like I said, we can just set them right on the ground also and put an electric pump
So
on.
what happens if somebody steals your trailer?
Good riddance. I want my dang tanks back. So, but yeah, that's something that, you know, that working into the spring over and, something for you to think about.
Do it.
I can see why they need water out there. You got tanks lined up?
I'm watching. I've did a couple inquiries already,
Yeah.
so,
What do you figure they'd cost?
yeah, it all depends. The main thing is purchasing used is how far you gotta go to get them. That's the booger. I mean, you can get out of town quite a ways to find them. I like auction sales. That's my goal. If I'd have had this idea, I could have purchased them both this year already, but
I've got a pretty big tank in the shed out at my place. I wonder,
What about those tanks in the aluminum frames?
totes?
How much do they hold?
in the what?
In those aluminum frames,
Like
everybody?
Oh, they're 250s.
Yeah.
250s.
I'd say 250.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you, so the tanks are gonna sit there? And then, you're gonna fill them from the shop,
Correct.
like with a hose or with an automatic fill, or what's gonna keep them?
Yeah, well, what the goal is there is we're just gonna, have a flotation device
Yeah.
to shut them off. Done with that, you know, and then, at least if they're full, I mean, if you got 1,000 gallons, we normally have 2 trucks in that area at any given time, so at least in the evening, if one of the highway personnel shuts it off, or they're full and they can shut them off, but they can, at least they'll have the amount of water they need in the morning to mix up their 800 gallons of.
It just occurred to me, there's some cheapy inline, fluid counters, you know?
Right, yeah, that's what, yeah, there's,
I know.
if we could get an inline
Yeah,
meter, that would, you know, that's
I've
something else
seen-
that we could look at.
real reasonable priced
Yeah,
meters, you know?
yeah, I mean, then that would save a lot of back and forth, whether it was
Yeah.
from last year's bills to this year's or whatnot, so, but yeah, they do have those.
May as well go for it. huh? Yeah.
Okay. Got that going on.
Just figure out if you're better off with 1,000 or 2 500s for, if you're filling 2 trucks at once, or
Right. Well,
the logistics.
if it's an auction deal, whatever comes up and
Whatever comes
reasonable,
up.
you know, that's the way I'm gonna shop. That's how I'm gonna do my wife's Christmas shopping this year. So,
You better
don't
hope
tell her
she's not-
that,
you
she
better
won't
hope
watch
she's not
this.
watching.
This is on TV
Yeah,
now.
she likes that stuff. Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
you know, just real quick, looking online, I mean, that 1,000-gallon tank is at $1,600 brand new.
right,
You know, so if you use that as your top-end budget,
Yeah.
I think you're good.
okay. Good, that's what I'll do. Okay, and then, number 4 here.
3.
Well, we're on 3. Oh, Androids. We have 2 for the vehicles right now because they're required to have 2 trucks, so I bought the 2 Androids, or the 2 Androids had been purchased before I came aboard. I purchased one for my truck so I could take and see what they're doing out there, where they're spraying, go back and, you know, you can see where they had been on mine. But because we are running 3 trucks, I'd like to purchase one more so that we do cover everything. Because if you look at the map that I provided there, all the way from the north to the south, but when we got down into, with that 3rd pickup, down in Boyd, Logan, Taft, Thelma, Driscoll, Clear Lake, all of them down in this area, Morton and them, we did not have the Android down in that area. So it didn't make this map complete. But I know it's small scaled or whatever, but you can see the spot spraying on here, the boom spray, there's a solid green lines and whatnot.
Do you have it in the budget?
Yes.
Then do it.
Do it.
How much is an Android?
Oh, the Android itself is around about 700, and then that'll be with the cards and stuff that'll take up to Tom Schrader, or Schrader, and put them cards in and everything. But I'd say that's between $600 and $700, something like that. Okay. Yeah, and Jim Hanson's the one that I sent the Android stuff to, and he made up these maps, and I actually have a bigger map that's up at the highway department now, back pinned onto my cubicle. So keep those rolling year to year, show the benefits of them. Let's see here, and then number 4, this is just something to throw at you guys. There's a convention in Loveland, Colorado. It'll be from it's April 20th through the 23rd. It's through the NDWCA. They put $1,250 towards the trip. It's not for sure that it's something I'd want to go to, but whether I should, is kind of up in the air. I'd like to, in a sense, also. But it's through an application, and then, however many they get, they do the choosing and of who they'd like to send down there to represent the North Dakota Weed Control Association. So I'm just asking if that's something that the board would consider if I was to put an application in for, and I'd be gone at them, for over that time, and then the $1,250 will cover so much of it. Not knowing what the expense would be, would come out of education fund or whatever through the weed board. Just if it's worth my time to put in.
I've
attended that online, so yeah, I think it would be beneficial.
Yeah, I'd say go, and if it's going to be beneficial, that's good, and you can make that determination on whether you'd ever go again.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. I'm not that great at winning raffle tickets and stuff, so I probably wouldn't get it anyway.
Talk with your wife first, too.
All right, and then number 5 here, the distribution center. This is something Steve Schwab and I had talked about a couple of times. The distribution center that's over on 52nd over there, it's a fine enough facility for what we're doing as of now with the smaller chemicals, the number of 5-gallon boxes and stuff like that. But we have they're moving up Nutrien, and Van Dietz is kind of entering into it, I believe, but Nutrien is getting to where they're getting bigger totes, like the 250s. You can pick that up, or you can purchase 5-gallon pails and or 15 and 30-gallon, call it kegs of chemical that's already pre-mixed. So it's just a matter if you're putting 20 ounces on or whatever it calls for, you can measure it out in instead of high noon, tore it on, liberate. And it'll give us a little advantages to having another setup of chemical, another mixture of chemical in that sense, without all the hassle. And with that, having the facility to have a storage area for that, just in the future, down the road, whatever, because I've heard that with that building up there that it may be tore down in time or whatever because of it settling, purchasing or being able to start possibly working with Marcus Hall a little bit on possibly having a facility set up right out at the Burleigh County Highway Department location. More than likely to the east side of the property. It's just words for thought and ideas for thought. Looking at something that down the road.
Commissioner Schwab?
Dan, I would talk to Marcus about this, and they're short a building up there. They're actually want a building and divide it off. Now, this is in the future, like he says. So I wouldn't have a problem if they're working on this and looking forward on it.
The shared space.
Yes.
It'd be what Marcus and I were talking about. We'd have the weed board end of it where we could house our own vehicles, our own chemicals and whatnot, and we wouldn't have a floor drain in that area because, or we can have one, but it's plugged, make sure that it's all up to code. But then we'd have that framed off and have a separate area, whether it has 2 overhead doors or 3 overhead doors, depending on, you know, the project size or whatnot. And that would be a heated area if need be, but mainly a cold storage area to keep some of their vehicles in. I mean, it's just a lot of vehicles that are sitting out, and it'd benefit the, you know, in a sense of just the wear and tear basically on the vehicles from the weather and whatnot, so.
Good evening, Chair Bach and Commissioners. I know when we built the current Highway Department building, there was a master plan to have some sort of a cold storage building on the east side, kind of next to our salt sand building. I don't foresee any sort of reason we couldn't work with the weed board in the future to try to come up with some sort of a joint building that would incorporate some sort of a cold storage that would meet our needs and a warm storage that would meet the needs of the chemical storage part of that as well. So obviously a few years down the road, we don't have any money set aside for anything in the immediate future for something like that, but definitely could work with the weed department and things like that to make that happen.
I'd start out right away with
Go off the master
with
plan,
heated.
start,
I wouldn't even consider a cold storage building anymore. I've been down that road quite a bit myself. And,
Then
I was
retrofitting,
thinking
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah,
If you're
just,
not gonna
you
heat
know.
it, you don't wanna build it.
no.
Yeah, and
Do it right once.
likely out in that particular location, we'd be looking at some sort of a propane heating system out there, or maybe natural gas will be out there at that point. Right now, we're running geothermal on part of the building, and we still have some radiant propane heat on the other parts of the building. So I would see tying into that probably wouldn't be the end of the world. The other thing we'd have to look at is fire suppression, things like that. I know when we built the main building, that was a big factor into that main building because there is no fire flow out there and things like that. And I'm not sure what you would have to have for a chemical storage building. So
Darren can find you a tank.
yeah, that's what we'll do.
I'll bring them up.
So
I
So
don't
yeah,
have, I don't,
I'd start working off that master plan,
yeah,
coming up
I
with
don't
what
have
you
a
need.
problem with it.
okay, we'll work close with Darren here and kind of come up with a plan, and we'll bring it forth back to the board. So.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Item 6.
All right, pushing for time. This is just something I've pondered on because I'm just there and I always think a bunch of stuff. But on some of our roadways, the highway department, you know, you get your grass growing in and we're spraying for noxious weeds. Well, we have areas, not all of them, but some of the areas the grass is starting to grow in, or tends to grow in onto the roadways, you know, couple feet, 3 feet at a time, in some areas, and which is narrowing up the roads. I'd like to see us try it because to spray some Roundup on them areas, because that'll kill that grass back. Because the live grass in there, when they go, if they want to bring that all up and put that shoulder back up on the road, that is going to contaminate the gravel for which is on the road already. Where if we kill it back and the grass has died down, it doesn't have near the effect on the conditions which the live vegetation would have on the right-of-ways or on the roadways.
You tested this out, or do you have a site identified to
It'd
test
be,
this?
I mean, it's something that I'd try. I mean, I talked with Chris about it too, and and he figures it would be too, because once that vegetation gets up on the road like that, then I find that the highway department comes in and they have to disc the edge of the road down so much and then bring that up on there. It's kind of a trial thing, is what I'd like to try. You know, it's something I'd like to try to see what the highway department finds, if it's beneficial through the blade operators and or the department themselves, whatever they see. It's not a deal where it's going to be, you know, 1,587 miles of spraying. It's just certain areas on like the lesser traveled roads. It seems like it's where it's growing in more. So it's just something I thought up, and it'd be something to
Why
try.
don't you find a couple spots to test this out and work with the highway department and
Okay. I mean, we're not talking a lot of money here. It's not gonna affect the spraying end that deeply. I mean, I'm talking like if we mix up a couple tanks and we go out and we hit these areas just to experiment for this next season coming up. That's topic for the 2026 season. So, and that would be we'd apply before the noxious weed control would start, because we already be able to see the green grass getting, or the edge of the road growing already. So, and with that there, the final thing here so far now is, this fall I've been working with the highway department, helping out back with Taylor and them guys back there and when they need me, and then, taking part in the, weed convention, and then every other task that's asked me. That's what I've been doing and what I'll be doing the rest of the year, or this fall, winter. Are there any questions?
Yes, I have one question. Do you have any continuing education classes coming up this year?
Well, that's part of that Loveland thing. That's going to be an
Colorado counts, is that correct? Colorado counts, is that right?
Yeah, that'd be an educational part deal. Also, I visited with Tyler the other day, and there's a couple things coming up in the near future that I'll be checking with him to get them dates and everything, and probably be going to them also.
I don't know, does he need commission to go to continuing ed?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
No, that's required by the state. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to carry on and keep
Yeah,
going
just-
with it.
If you want to just keep us in the loop on that, but that's something you need to check the boxes with the state, so.
Right.
As needed to satisfy those credits.
Okay.
I would say just go ahead and do that, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner,
I've been here a long time, but I've never seen an annual report from the weed board. Have we ever had it? My compliments,
Thank you.
outstanding.
weed board's going in the right direction, so thank you.
Well, you'll get one in the spring before we fire up again too, so
Don't let it go to your head.
sit tight. Watch out.
All right, anything else, Darren?
No, that's all I have, gentlemen.
Any other questions for Darren? Any other business? With that, this weed board is closed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
There you go. 2 minutes to go to the bathroom?
We will say the pledge together. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this evening. We thank you for getting us through this first snow, especially out in the far reaches of the county. God, continue to just be with all of our first responders that are out there, and as they, and even the ones that are clearing the roads, protect them from people that are not aware of what they're doing. And we thank you for these county commissioners. We thank you for what they do. We pray, God, we just continue to move forward in the direction we need to. And we do this all in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
We'll call the December 1st, 2025 meeting of the Burleigh County Commission to order. First item is roll call.
Commissioner Bain.
Here.
Commissioner Herman. Here. Commissioner Woodcox.
Here.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Commissioner Bakken.
Here.
Commissioner Schwab.
Here.
Chairman Bittner.
Here, clarification, the December 1st County Park Board meeting. The next item is the approval of the agenda. Commissioners,
Move to approve.
Second.
motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Herman.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Bain.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next is consideration of October 6th, 2025 meeting minutes. Commissioners,
Move to approve.
Second.
motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Bain.
Yes.
Commissioner Herman. Yes. Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next is public comment. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to make a comment? Of course, it's restricted to Burleigh County residents and landowners. Anybody wish to speak? This is a public comment period. Anybody wish to speak? Third and final call. This is a public comment period. Anybody wish to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment period and move on to agreement with Bismarck Parks and Recs.
Mr. Chair, if you will, at the last park board meeting on November 20th, the Bismarck Park Board chose not to renew the management agreement with Burleigh County. And so therefore their agreement will end with us on December 31st. The first thing I want to do is publicly ask for a apology from the Tribune, who on Saturday stated that we paid them $100 million last year for services, as opposed to the $100,000 that we paid for it. So,
Yeah, that was my bad.
okay, thank you.
We corrected it, we're running a correction tomorrow, so yeah, that's on me.
You know, the comma was in the wrong spot and a couple extra periods were in, or zeros were in there, and so I've had a lot of phone calls over that.
I figured that right away.
So really, I wanted to let the park board know that is what's happening. Really, items that I need to take care of, short term and then some long term. Short term, I will ask in an email or however Commissioner Schwab would like. I'm going to ask for their assistance in some snow removal at the ramps this winter.
At the what?
At the boat ramps.
Boat ramps.
And if you can't, I will start going out to some private companies to see if we can keep the snow removal, at least keep the ramps open so people have access.
For what?
Well, typically the boat ramps are kept open of snow so that people can get to and from the ramps or through the parking lots of our ramps. So they can,
Well, water's frozen though, in the winter.
yes,
What are you, ice fishing or what are we?
typically we keep them open so that the residents have access to them. The second part of that, there's a garbage service, that I will work with the auditor. The Park District has given me the name of the service that we have used over the last several years. And the auditor and I will go through that and get that contract, review it, and try to get that extended as well. Moving forward, and this is where I need your opinions, on average, over the last 10 years, we've spent $106,000 a year for that service to take care of the lawns, the ramps, the docks, garbage, all of that. I need to figure out how to work within that budget for '26 to keep our facilities open and accessible to the public. There are some items that I could lean on Commissioner Schwab's group if possible. There is the option of hiring lawn services to take care of the grass. Again, we talked about the garbage, we can take care of that. Yes?
Before you go too far, is the snow removal and the mowing and upkeep around the extension building, we have to take care of that now?
Not around the extension building. Parks and Rec owns and leases the very specific area around that building. That's theirs. The road that would run through Missouri Valley Fairground would be ours, that we would need to, and the road that goes up to Buckstop Junction would be something we would need to add to our list of things to take care of.
Those are city roads, aren't they?
No,
I don't think so.
we've taken care of them in the past. Daniel?
Dan?
Dan?
Good evening, Commissioners. Are you referring to the frontage road that goes around the Missouri Valley
Yes.
Fairgrounds? I believe that is a private road, and it's considered as such, and we have removed snow on it for the Missouri Valley complex in the
Yep.
past. So we can certainly do that on an as-called basis, as we've done in the past.
Yeah.
Problem
Basically
solved.
belongs to user groups.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I know in the past years, it's been in my budget to pay the county to take care of those roads. So, so again, those are short-term things that we have to take care of. Long-term, we have to figure out what we want to do for the rest of '26, and then start planning for '27, how we want to do that. If the highway department has some time and is available, I would really love to, and again, I'll work with Commissioner Schwab on that after the meeting or tomorrow. I don't know, Commissioner Bittner, if the county building and grounds staff has any time available. I know you're short on staff as well. For mowing grass, I think it'd be easier for us to reach out to a lawn care service and subcontract that out.
Yeah, that's what we did in the past, prior to the city doing this. We had a guy and his wife that's what they did is they'd go around and they'd mow and they'd deal with trash and stuff.
Yep.
And then we had a seasonal park ranger. It seemed to work out real well at the time. Of course, when he passed away, that's when we made the move to
Agreement.
But I wouldn't be opposed to us considering something like that again.
Sure.
Sure. Seasonal. In his case, he was already retired, so it worked out real well. He had retired as chief of enforcement for North Dakota Game and Fish, so he was kind of well-versed in park-related stuff,
And then I think about the growth of the Missouri Valley Complex, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, my mind goes to having more of a full-time person that is facilitating that property with a myriad of different projects or jobs.
Well, I
So-
think countywide with the boat ramps and everything that's going to encompass, that is going to be a position that we're probably going to grow into.
But paying Parks and Rec $100,000 for, a year doesn't really get me a full-time employee
Right.
in that situation. So for the first year, obviously, we're gonna need to lean on each other and see what we can do, but then start planning from there, so.
Well, and I look at it this way too, is that complex and the opportunities out there grow and start generating revenue,
Yeah.
then that's gonna have an opportunity to take that off the backs of other departments. And
Right.
we're gonna be able to grow into that position, because I that's one thing I think we're gonna wind up needing in Burleigh County, is a very robust county parks department to manage some of these affairs
Yeah.
too, so.
Yep. I know there were some questions.
Mr. Chairman, is this the time we should be having this discussion as to whether or not, what are we gonna do in the future? Because the way it's going now, all of a sudden we went to contract with the city, and now we're on our own, and we're talking about hiring a ranger and equipment and buildings and lawnmowers, and imagine what we will have to do, but I don't know what our alternatives are. I mean, are we on our own now? Are we gonna start a whole new district? I'm not in favor of adding any more employees to the county registry than we have to, and here we're adding 3 or 4 probably, maybe even more, so I think we should have that discussion before we get too far
correct.
down the road.
Yep.
I don't know
Today was more of a notification of this is what happened and this is what we have to do to take care of our parks moving forward. I'm just throwing out ideas that are short-term and long-term. No decisions need to be made or should be made today. I will work with Commissioner Schwab to see what time he has available, his staff does. From there, I will move forward and find subcontractors that can handle that to fit within the budget that I currently have. And then, this is down the road, future conversations.
Sure.
With regards to how many employees and whatnot, really my only consideration was like a part-time seasonal guy at this point. I'm not seeing no 3 or 4.
No.
What, the employee we have out at McDowell Dam, whose employee is he? Is it the city's or is that ours?
Park District? Yep.
It's ours?
No, park.
It's the city.
City,
Okay.
city park.
So there's
as far
there's one
as-
more thing we have to consider. What do we do with him? And-
No,
No.
that's not part of
Separate.
our management agreement.
Separate entity.
Okay.
Separate.
It's operated by the Water Resource District. That's a
Right.
whole contract with the Water Board.
Yep.
So
Commissioner
Commissioner
Bachman.
Munchin, in respect to all the paperwork concerning our property and the management agreements, including the grants, all the communications done on the behalf of Burleigh, from parks? When does that transfer over? When do we have institutional knowledge getting transferred as
yep.
part
Dave
of
and-
that? Because I know
Dave-
there's some grants that are out there and.
Yeah. So Dave and I have been talking via email the last week about putting together a very detailed plan of each park, what's being taken care of at each park, and as you said, the paperwork. The grants, the only grants I can think of right now that we've talked about are for Kimball Bottoms, and that is all
Okay.
being handled through Houston Engineering as part of their contract to put together the project.
But as far as going forward with potential grant opportunities, it's something,
That'll all be on our shoulders.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I see
Commissioner Woodcock.
Dave is here and he is shaking his head this way and shaking his head this way. And so can we get some clarification on what your concerns are, or input?
Good evening, Chairman Bittner and Commissioners. I guess concerns, Commissioner Munson and I have been going back and forth and trying to make a list of everything that is necessary for transfer of information. We have, originally when the agreement was created with the county and the Bismarck Park District, there was a work plan that was attached as Exhibit B, I believe, in the agreement. We're going through and re-verifying everything on that. We updated that just recently. So I'm asking our staff to just verify those things to make sure everything's correct and current. And they talk about, when do we check garbage? When do we check on visitors? When do we check on the boat dock? And all the things that happen at each one of the different locations. So we're going to go through and verify that, and then I plan to sit down with Commissioner Munson and go through everything at each location. Also have a list of contracts that we've had in the past with tree removal services, or the garbage, or septic pumping, for vault toilets and that kind of thing. Making sure all those phone numbers, all that information is handed over. The one long-term contract that we did do a while back, I'd say probably 8 years ago, we shifted to quoting out to the mowing services, and we've had a longer quoting process. I believe we did that agreement. I'm kind of looking at you, Commissioner Chairman Bittner. I think we went from 2-year agreement with a 1-year extension to like a 3-year agreement with a 1-year extension with the contractor that we've had. We've been successful. There's been a consistent contractor that's won that quote every time we've put that out. I believe that the last 1-year extension was just for 2025, so it would need to go up again in 2026. Make sure you have all that information, the agreement that we have with them. I won't leave you in the lurch at all. That's not the plan.
no
Make sure
worries
we
there.
transfer all the information over. I've got it all in my head. I've got half of it written down. So we're working on it right now.
Perfect.
Okay, thanks, we appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So more work to come,
Yeah,
more work to come. But I just wanted, since it happened recently at the park board meeting, I wanted to bring the official notice to you and let you know I've
Well-
got more work on my plate.
yeah. Well, we've certainly we've handled that in the
Yep.
past. I don't think that's any
Right.
real big problem. And if there's anything that the maintenance staff and whatnot, I can have a conversation with those guys and see if there's any place where they would fit in.
Sure.
But it's not really, periodically things like, maybe maintaining a fish cleaning station, or
Right.
it's not really maintenance stuff, right?
And as Dave mentioned, there is a service that we're already hiring for lawn. It'll just be a matter of the auditor and I working together to put out that bid request to
Yeah, yeah.
bring that back in front of
Yeah.
the commission. So,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, any other business for the county park board? Well, thank you, commissioners. We'll adjourn the Burleigh County Park Board. And I'll call the December 1st, 2025 meeting of the Burleigh County Commission to order.
Man.
First item is roll call of members.
Commissioner Woodcox,
Here.
Commissioner Munson,
Here.
Commissioner Schwab,
Here.
Commissioner Bakken,
Here.
Chairman Bittner.
Here. Next item is approval of the agenda.
I would move to approve minus item number 7.
Yeah.
They're not available to be here this evening, so we'll move that back to the next commission meeting.
Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay. Any other changes or concerns?
Second.
That was a motion, right?
Yes. it was.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Consideration of the November 17th, 2025 meeting minutes and bills. Commissioners, I had an opportunity to review the bills and found them in order and will ask for a motion to approve the minutes and the bills.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes and bills. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox,
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Number 5, public comment. Anybody wish to speak on any particular item that's not an agenda item and it is restricted to county residents and landowners? This is a public comment period. Does anybody wish to speak? Once again, this is a public comment period. Does anybody wish to speak? Last call. Anybody wish to speak? I'm going to close the public comment period. Move on to the consent agenda. Commissioners, in front of you, you have abatements, special event permits, second access permit requests, and tax sale waiver. Want to pull any of those off for discussion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox,
Yes.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next is review of ETA agreement. It's page 19 through 28. I had a chance to review it, and I don't have any particular questions. I didn't see any changes from what we had discussed at previous meetings. Commissioners, your thoughts?
Mr. Chairman, I did the same thing, and I see nothing that we can change or need to change anyway.
Right. I do know that there's one person in the audience that had asked that the city asked the city's consideration on getting his land out of the ETA, and apparently the city has just determined that they don't want to do that. So, Wayne, I don't know what more we can do on that.
Thank you, Commissioner Bittner. What's their excuse not to remove it?
What I read, kind of an email, I don't think it was in the packet, but it's basically is that they already have a plan for the water and sewer going through that area.
That'll never happen 50 years from now.
I have no doubt you're right about that, Wayne. But that was.
Who's in charge of that foolish plan anyway? Who are the people involved? I want to know.
You know, about all I can tell you is this starts with the mayor and commissioners of the city. I don't know.
What are they doing sticking their nose in rural property, farmland especially? They have no business out there.
I agree with you.
So
That's
I'm
why
going
we
to keep
fought
pursuing it
with-
as much as I can. They might get tired of seeing me at all the meetings, but I'm going to keep pursuing it.
Okay, I'll help you in any way I can.
Yeah, okay?
You're talking ETA problems, and that's.
Yeah, ETA,
We've had
that's
that
a bad
problem
thing.
a long time.
That's a bad thing to have. They never called me to even put it on. They just went and put it on back
Yeah.
in '06.
Yeah.
Didn't know a thing about it.
Yeah,
So-
that's the same thing that happened to me when I
That's
bought my
like using
property.
eminent domain, is what it's like.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep pursuing it, and
Okay.
I don't know whose toes I'm gonna step on, but I'll step on somebody's.
Yeah,
So,
I'll help you any way I
yeah,
can. Wayne.
I know you will. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Wayne. I guess the idea would be to approve the ETA agreement.
Chairman?
Commissioner Bakken?
The city is here if they have anything
Okay.
to add prior to.
Oh, I didn't see you folks. Wayne, that's who you talk to. Those are the guys. You guys have any, city have anything to add to that?
Unless you have questions for me.
Okay. Does anybody have questions for me?
I don't have any
Okay.
particular questions. No.
Okay. I would move to approve the ETA agreement.
Second.
as-
Motion is second to approve the
Much
ETA
as I
agreement. Any
dislike
further
it.
discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox,
Yes.
Commissioner Munson. No. Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
No. Motion carries. No, and the only reason I did that is because not 100% of the citizens in the ETA are out from under the ETA.
I agree with you, but.
You know, I
Some are
approve,
relative.
I approve of the
Yeah.
ETA agreement, I just don't approve of leaving anybody behind.
No, I
My no
concur.
vote literally comes from, our motion had 3 requests, and 2 of the 3 were granted, which I appreciate, but 1 was not, wasn't even talked about after that. We just get a letter stating no. And so at that point, I side on Wayne's side. I think it should have been allowed to stay in our agreement, and so therefore that's why I voted.
That's fair.
But again, I agree with ETA. I'm glad we're able to do what we're
Yeah,
doing.
helping some is great.
Absolutely.
I guess we need to keep working on the rest. Okay, number 9, public health contract services, page 30 to 36.
What's the one to let Wayne vote? Sorry, I just-
Did you have some comments in regard to that? Or what do you mean?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So my understanding from visiting with State Administrator Timonik, this Burleigh County has put X amount of dollars in our budget for public health. My understanding is the city agreed with that. However, at one of their latest commission meetings, they wanted to put this letter in front of us because they have not offered us a contract. So we currently do not have a contract for public health services. And so they're coming to us with three questions realistically, or 3 options. Option number 1 is to continue the contract for service agreement with the City of Bismarck for public health services in 2026, maintaining the current level of service at the amount approved by Burleigh County. Number 2, pursue a joint powers agreement for public health services, forming a joint board of health under North Dakota Century Code 23 through 35, or allow the current contract for service agreement to expire on December 31st, 2025, with Burleigh County assuming the responsibility for meeting all public health service requirements. The county commission is concerned with primarily my statements through budgeting of trying to prepare Burleigh County to have their own public health and trying to budget accordingly. And so their real biggest question is number 1. Are we going to work with them at the contract that we all budgeted for? Or do we want to pursue our own public health in 26, 27, 28? What's our plan for the future? And I thought Jason was going to be here. Yes, he is.
Yes,
He's
he's
hiding. Jason, anything other than what I've stated that you would like to add?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. No, I'm here just to answer questions. We provided some attachments to your agenda packet with a draft of the 2026 contract for provision services, and then a Q&A summary. And then, as you noted, Commissioner Munson, the 3 options in the cover memo, or 3 questions are for your consideration.
Okay, Commissioner Bakken?
So, Jason, I can ask you, since you're here, if we were to go down the road of a joint powers agreement, or set up the Board of Health, what would the representation of that look like in your estimation?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Commissioner Bakken, thinking back to when this conversation was had earlier, I believe a joint Board of Health is a 5-person commission with representation from, would it be 2 from the city, 2 from the county? I'm looking at Commissioner Cleary. This is Commissioner Cleary's portfolio. I think she's got it. I'm trying to remember.
Representative from the medical community.
I think
if I
that's what it
remember
was.
right.
It was one medical representative.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So when we discussed it previously, it was like a board of either 5 or 7 commissioners from each portfolio. So it would be myself and Commissioner Munson as of right now, but whoever holds the portfolio. And then the other seats are filled similar to planning and zoning, I would say, where you're pulling them from the population. But in a lot of the boards of health that we see elsewhere, they list specific criteria that you're looking for within those citizens, like we're wanting them to be part of the medical community in some capacity, whether it's environmental health or, you know, a doctor of any kind, you know, like someone that works in the schools, that kind of stuff, it all works. But then there would be representation amongst that, like, split to where it's like at least one of them has to be county, at least one of them has to be city, sort of thing. I think that is the way we had it laid out previously. Neither board decided to move forward with that at that point, so that's where we left it. I guess I view the three options as option one is probably the closest to what we currently have. I think that our question with it is, there's been a lot of conversations as far as you guys are with the hopes of moving into your own public health department. And so we just want to be able to plan for that because it affects our budget too. And so joint powers agreement would be like taking a step in the other direction, or we're reinforcing the collaboration by having a true joint powers agreement, one board of health, that sort of thing. Probably means more than a 1-year contract because we'd be asking people to sit on this board for terms, that sort of thing. And then obviously option 3 is if you guys are ready to take that step the other direction and doing your own board of health. I think there probably would be some wiggle room within those options where it's like, if you guys are wanting to take 2026 as a way to go and try to put this together yourselves, but you know that you don't want to leave people, that's our big concern. We don't want to leave rural or city residents, we don't want to leave anybody in the cracks of not getting services. We don't want to, all of a sudden, you guys are going to go do your own public health department, we'll have ours, but that we don't want there to be a period of 90 days where you guys are getting something set up and then rural people don't have services. That's not what we want. So if there's a scenario where you are wanting to do your own public health department in 2026, but you're needing assistance on a month-to-month basis, that we just want to know a little bit more of a plan, I guess, would be.
I would assume it's a little bit more like Provident Building. You know, we've talked to the city about renting here through a period, because we are working on the Provident and eventually will move.
Correct.
Same with IT services, you know, they're prepared for us to exit at a certain time. If it is Burleigh County's thought process, other than my own, to move into our own health department, they're just looking for a time frame. They're looking for a date. And what can they plan for? How do they handle their staff? So on and so forth.
I do believe too, in option 1, in the contract for services, it's still going to have that clause where you can be out before the year is up as long as you give the 60-day notice or something like that.
Right.
So it's not like you have to be in for the whole year. If you guys, you know, take the spring to kind of figure out how your department's going to lay out, how, you know, I mean, obviously, but the more information we have, the better, because then we can plan as well.
Well, okay. My opinion on the whole thing is that we should engage in the 2026 contract for provision of public health services, because we're not going to have, even if we go down that road.
Right.
And this is a real recent conversation, I think, we're talking
June,
budget.
we kind of started to talk about it in budget, and
Yeah.
we're
nowhere near.
If the county wants to go down that road, we're 2 years out. 3 years
Absolutely,
out,
yeah.
you know.
I don't see anything happening. I'd be surprised if we made the decision to do our own today. I
Right.
doubt whether we'd be ready to stand it up in a year.
Right.
Anyway, so.
And I don't think we're ready to do that undertaking without
No.
completion of the Provident Building.
Yeah.
Let's get one project done before we start
Sure.
looking at other projects.
Because that would inform whether we had space to do it, or
Right.
whether we need to look at other space or whatever. I think it's totally premature, really, to be making a plan for eliminating that contract.
Well, and that's
I
what the
think
city's just wanting to make sure that as we move forward, that we are their partner for 2026. And we'll have the conversation again in June when we start doing budget for 27.
I would move that we continue on with the contract for 2026, option number 1, as per our packet.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue the 2026 contract. Any further discussion? Commissioner Woodcox.
Does that contract have a 1 year with another option to, for
It's,
another 2 years?
in the
Or
past, it's just been a classic one-year contract. It does have a 60-day notice if
opt-out.
you're wanting to end the contract prematurely. Otherwise, it is designed just to end at the end of the calendar year. Just like classic contract for services, basically. So it'll, like, as far as services go and budget goes, everything remains fairly similar. We just were looking for more of an update or a plan, and it sounds like you guys are working on that, but for 2026, we just want to make sure everybody has the services they need too, so.
Perfect.
Okay, great, thank you
Should we
guys.
clarify that for you? You're good with, okay.
Well, and like Commissioner Munson said, we'll have a conversation then come budget time, so, but there is no way I foresee through anything earlier than through the end of 26.
No, I don't see it.
Probably
We'd be
27. Yeah.
If even.
If even.
Yeah. Commissioner Woodcox.
I know we're the Board of Health for Burleigh County, the 5 of us. The city commission is the Board of Health for the city. Is there gonna be any changes made in that group of 10?
So actually, I can clarify that a little bit too, because when Renee and I and Jason were going through the Century Code, that sort of thing, it also kind of came to our realization that we call this contract a joint powers agreement, but when you read the Century Code, it's really not a joint powers agreement. It's a contract for services. So, and in the Century Code, the city commission is the Board of Health in how it operates as of right now. Certainly Renee can continue to bring Board of Health, health updates to you guys because you are an active partner and we are providing services via that contract. So certainly we would like to give you updates on them. But from the legal standpoint,
We're not.
the city commission acts as the Board of Health until otherwise changed.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken,
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. County Planning Director Flanagan, we got Wentz special use permit, Kedgerling special use permit, Gawley final subdivision zoning change, and BSPRA membership renewal. Welcome, Mitch.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Chair. First up on this is the Wentz special use permit. Brian Wentz came to us in October to wanting to build an accessory building prior to the principal structure or the house. There's no house on it. He wants to build a shop there on his property there in Island Estates. He is going over Article 6 basically states if you want to build the accessory building before the primary structure, you're restricted to 1,200 square feet. And he wants to build a 2,608 square foot building, which is 4,000 square feet more. So we had the special use permit hearing. The recommendation was a vote of 4-3. We sent out 67 letters of notice to the neighboring properties. We received 2 in opposition. As part of the SUP, there will be no on-site sales, on-site retail sales. There were comments by the HOA after the approval process had gone through. They were asking Brian to go through compliance on their HOA agreements. And I did receive an email from Mr. Scheider on the 25th stating that they were in compliance with the Island Estates. Well, it's a Hogue Island. That's a different subdivision where Brian is, but he still went through their covenants to meet them. And he got the number of people to agree with it.
Commissioner Bakken.
Is his intent to put a home on there as well, down the road, or is?
He lives across the street, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Bakken, he lives across the street.
Across the road, okay.
And his son also owns property right there. They own 3 lots in a row, and then he lives right across the street. I don't know if he plans on building. They do the landscaping there.
So the resident adjacent, though?
He's right next to it, yeah. It is restricted, no retail sales, no commercial sales on the property, no employees, that sort of thing. If you wanted to do that or expand it as a home occupancy, then he'd have to come back to this board.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Woodcox.
So if he's not gonna do any business there, not gonna sell anything, he can be running a landscape business out of that building apparently. Is that compatible with our zoning in that
Yeah,
area?
as a home occupancy, there are numerous home occupancies in Burleigh County. You can't have on-site sales, or where people show up and you take their money and they leave. You can do it online, and they transact over that, and they come over and pick up the product or that sort of thing. It's not to be a commercial activity. They're designed to be.
Commissioner Buckner.
But as of right now, if he wanted to store equipment on his private property, he could. Just park
Absolutely.
equipment there.
Right.
So I'm going to extrapolate that him putting up the building, he's probably gonna get that equipment out of eyesight, more than likely. So if you're investing in the equipment, you're gonna wanna put it indoors, so.
Yeah, Mr.
But right
Chair.
now, he could just park equipment on his property, right?
Right, his intention of building this altogether was put the equipment inside.
You mentioned that there was, two neighbors that were opposed to it?
Yeah, there were, out of 67 letters, two came back that are not supportive. They didn't say why, this is not supportive of this. But he has been in contact multiple times, multiple emails back and forth with the HOA out there, with Stacy Scheider and Lyle, I can't think of his last name. We've been in contact about this whole thing, that it is a non-transferable document, the SUP. If he was to sell this property and somebody else came in, they'd have to come back to this board. And so that's part is non-transferable, and it is restricted to the equipment inside, no retail sales, and it's written on the SUP too. So if he were to expand that, then we could come back and ask him to come to the table again.
Okay. Is the applicant here? If you wouldn't mind, state your name for the record.
Yep, Joe Wentz. I'm pretty much I run the tree farm there. It's pretty much just a straight up storage building to get our equipment out of winter and the elements. All of our sales are wholesale. Work with landscapers around Bismarck and Mandan, and they put in an order with us. We dig their trees, take them to them. They can come out and say, we want these ones. And then they leave, and we dig them when the season is appropriate. So
No Christmas tree lot?
I've had a lot of calls, but nope, haven't ventured down that route yet. Don't know that I ever will, but.
Did I see someplace where there was, where that you needed to go around with a petition and see if the neighbors had
Yeah,
signed?
so we went through our Hogue Island Estates, which is all the neighbors south of our section line that runs all along our property, and all of those neighbors had no issue. So I think there was 12 or 11 of them.
Okay.
And then,
I haven't heard of any issue. That's what
Yeah,
I'm just asking is, nobody's contacted me
yeah,
about
and we try to keep the area looking good. Nothing's overgrown, keep the weeds down, mow. And then this building will just help keep everything looking a lot cleaner because we won't have tree spades and other equipment parked out in the lot, and
Well, I support that.
so.
I like that. People being able to keep their stuff inside preserves the investment. Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Is there anybody opposed to this that is here?
I don't know. Is there anybody here that's opposed to this? Once again, anybody that's opposed?
Then I would move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Mr. Chair, next up is the item for Kettling special use permit. Keith Kettling came to us last October to build a indoor winter riding arena. It's 64 by 120 square feet, approximately 7,300, excuse me, his building would be 7,680 square feet. Again, but this is, his house is on this, we're dealing strictly with the 4% lot coverage. He owns 4.21 acres, and which is approximately 7,335 feet that is allowed. He currently has an existing 1,600 square foot pole barn. With the proposed building on the pole barn, he will be over that 4% allowance by 1,944 square feet. At the public hearing, it was recommended to be approved by a 5-2 vote. Again, on this, the scope of the SUP is there's no public use allowed. This is for a private arena only. In your packet is a site plan, then location map, as well as a draft SUP, excuse me.
I have a question, Mitch.
Sure.
Commissioner Schwab.
Would he consider that, putting that out at the fairground? Get something done out there?
That's a thought.
It is a large building. It could fit out there.
He sure could.
I guess the question is, did they go around with a petition like the other one, and the neighbors have any issues with it?
We didn't hear anybody in opposition to it.
Okay. Neighbors are okay with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
they all were. We had no opposition whatsoever.
Okay. All right.
The majority we had spoken to were very supportive of the idea, so.
Okay.
There was no opposition whatsoever.
All right.
I'd move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Next up is the Golly Final subdivision. In August this year, staff met with Swenson Hagan to discuss planting the 10 acres out of a 40-acre parcel. The staff also recommended the petitioner apply for a zoning change from agriculture to R1 single family, because the lot will be less than 10 acres. The lot size is 9.83 acres. The paving waiver was not required. Stormwater management application was waived. Gibbs Township was notified of the plat and zone change, but has not replied. 6 revisions to the plat were made to reach Article 33. At the November 10th meeting, it was approved, recommended approved 7-0.
Commissioners?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Last step, Commissioners, is to renew the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority. As you recall, last year we signed a GPP, or Governor's Partner Program agreement with them for 1 year. This is a renewal of that. The fee of $180 is the same as last year. Would allow us access to support services provided by the Big Sky Passenger Rail.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
No.
Chairman Bittner?
No. Motion
Too
carries.
easy. Think you're going too easy.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That's kind of what I was thinking. All right. Anything
Save it
else?
for Pam.
Okay.
She's up next.
County HR Director Binder.
Never mind.
Follow up on auditor salary analysis, approval of the holidays, facilities director appointment, treasurer, finance departments, appointment of an interim treasurer, follow-up discussion regarding consultant appointee, clarification, and county engineer retirement. Did you bring lunch to present all this, or you?
Should have ordered pizza. I don't know.
Okay.
Chairman,
Welcome, Pam.
Commissioners. Thanks. The first item is just follow-up from the auditor salary that we've been talking about the last few meetings. And what I came to is to have that salary not in the pay grade structure, to have the minimum salary at $28,500, have the average salary as the annual auditor's salary, the market, at $54,435, and the maximum at $95,435. Knowing that whoever's going to run and be elected, they would provide their resume, and the board, the commission, along with myself, would negotiate. I do not agree with putting a dollar value to an associate's degree, to a bachelor's degree, to a master's degree, because we do not do that with any of our other positions, and I don't want to open that can of worms. They will have to negotiate what they bring to the table.
Sure.
Okay, the caveat with this, though, is it's an elected position, so what is the best pathway for an elected position to meet benchmarks, or should we look at something else?
Well, I would assume that if they have elections experience, because we are basing it off of the approved auditor's job description as it is now. And that election is the main thing. So if they have a prior election experience, that gives them
Okay, the
a
odds of
standing.
getting a candidate like that are slim
Minimal.
to none. Yes.
Minimal.
So that is something that needs to be learned with the job through the Secretary of State's office and Association of Counties.
And that's why we negotiate the training plan at that point. It depends, we don't know who the candidate is going to be, who's going to be elected. So we really can't do a training plan or a path forward until we know who's elected. And then we can come together and negotiate their training plan for the elections, because we know that the Secretary of State's office has extensive training for elections. Also, the North Dakota Association of Counties has the ILG training for auditors on board as board secretaries. So there is the training out there, and we just put targets in place based on that training, the attainment of the training.
Yeah. Seems fair to me. I mean, you know what the start is with no qualifications. I think if you happen to be a high school student or a high school graduate with no additional experience, chances are you won't be at $95,000 a year. But at some point, we would be able to, I think, offer a fair and reasonable salary as long as it's above that minimum. Commissioner Woodcock.
Could we put a different minimum on besides that 25,000, whatever it was?
28,500.
Okay, could we put a different minimum on it? I'm talking about doing it in advance of the election, so people know that at least there's a minimum there, and it's not, 20,000 is not realistic in our market at all.
Well,
anybody.
28,500 is realistic in some of those positions. It depends on what they bring. If they bring, if we get a former auditor from a different county, they're more in that market. They're in the $54,000 range easily. But if we get somebody that's right out of high school and this is their first job, 28.5 is pretty good.
I don't know that I agree with that, because I've been in business a long time, and I don't think anybody was paid less or more than, no, less than 20,000 in just normal starting positions, so.
If you want to raise it, you can raise it to 30. That's,
Well, I was gonna raise it to 50. But that's just a
Based
starting,
on,
that's
based
just
on
my
what?
thoughts.
Based on what though, Commissioner? What kind of?
Because I want to get a good candidate to run, or a good pair of, or three that will run. I want to get, I don't want to end up with another 4-year term of having problems.
Well, that doesn't guarantee that a qualified candidate runs.
No, but it's a better guarantee than a $20,000 minimum, I think.
Well, that
But
brings
you're
up.
still rewarding inexperience, right?
That still brings up the fact it's an elected position, and why are you running in the first place? You know, with what we make, I didn't do this because of the salary.
Oh, no.
So it is an elected position, so where are you drawing the line? Because
Let's raise ours up, then we can equal the one that, just kidding. I don't care, I just want to have qualified candidates, that's what I want. That's my main concern.
Commissioner Munson.
And what's the minimum wage for an hourly paid employee?
what is it? North Dakota minimum is $7 and is it 25 cents an hour?
35,
That's the
There's
Fed.
nobody that
That's the
pays
Fed
minimum
rate.
wage.
This
That's the
is
Fed
double
rate.
that, is where I was
Mhm.
going.
Yeah, this
Um,
is double.
But I wouldn't get an employee to apply at my business for under 20.
Mhm.
And we're asking someone to, in defense of what Jerry's saying here, we're asking someone to actually run for an election. And then if they win that election, then they're negotiating with this board for a salary. I think we need to have a higher minimum. I agree with what the chair's saying. I mean,
Well, the other
the
side of that, too,
qualifications
is-
for auditor by the state central
Yeah.
code is this or a high school graduate and a resident of the county. And
So we've all run for office. We know the cost incurred
Right.
of running for office. And see, that's where I have a problem here. You're asking somebody, I did it, we've all done this, but you're asking somebody to work for less than what it costs them to get into the office. That's the other side of this. So that brings up the question, why are you running in the first place? And we want quality candidates to be able to run for elected office, just like all of we have. And coming up in June, we'll have people doing the same thing. So I'm a little torn on, why are you running, but we need somebody to run who's qualified for a position. And it's not a slight on the position in any way, shape, or form. That's just what we're saddled with the Century Code.
right.
I mean, you can vote and set the salary, the starting salary, whatever you guys want to set. Because you guys are negotiating, setting the salary. It's not in
Commissioner.
our pay grade system, though.
Yeah. Commissioner Woodcox.
I move that we establish a minimum of $45,000 a year for that elected position. And negotiate it up depending upon our negotiations.
I will second for argument's sake.
I was gonna say the same thing.
You have a motion and a second. Any
Okay.
further discussion?
Now we can
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Lots of it. Pam, the requirement for that position realistically is, so at $45,000 a year, when the requirement for that position is 8 hours a month.
8 hours a month.
Yeah, so what does that equate out to an hourly salary? Because that's the other side of this too. It's like realistically, you only have to be there 8 hours a month. You should be there more during election time, but with the responsibilities not during the election, then
That's why we want to
what's
get a
the realistic
qualified candidate.
requirement?
That's why we want to get qualified people.
That doesn't guarantee that, Commissioner.
Well,
No,
there's no
nothing
guarantees of
guarantees that.
anything.
Doesn't guarantee
really.
Nothing
anything.
guarantees that,
No,
you know? Because
I think
we're
you oughta-
we're in
I-
a position right now where somebody has to learn the job every time they get elected. And so what's the value of somebody who's been learning the job versus somebody who gets elected cold? We're in a gray area here, and there's no solution because of the way the Century Code is written, that there's no easy solution provided.
Commissioner Schwab.
I said way back that I thought that a good starting wage would be 36,000, and I'm gonna stick to it. I think, can't lowball it, but, you know, they can advance rapidly, but in the 20,000, it's not enough to attract anybody, I don't think.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have one other question, because ultimately, we have to comply to some sort of county standards. Pam? We're 45, 36, I mean, I know it's arbitrary, but you're the HR professional, and I would defer to your knowledge.
The median salary for the elected auditors for the central counties is the 54,000. The new ones start anywhere from 42. There's one that's part-time in McIntosh that's working for 24,000. I think the Kidder County auditor is 42,000. She has been there, I'd say, 8 years at least. Emmons County, She has just been bumped up to right around 87,000. She's been there a long time, and that just happened recently in the last few years.
So it's all over the
It's
map.
all over the place.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
but we have to compare the big four cities. That's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. We're not looking at smaller counties. We really aren't. This is a prestige position, in my opinion. We want it to be that. We want it to be that 10 years from now, and we're not gonna get it at 20,000 a year. That's for darn sure. We'll be the laughing stock of
Commissioner Munson.
upper Midwest. I went beyond North Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask State's Attorney Lawyer, what are we getting ourselves into here? Sorry.
It's kind of a loaded question.
I know. When we're working at, this is an elected position for X amount of dollars starting, and once they're elected, this body then determines a salary. What lawsuits are we looking at having afterwards?
That's what you do for all of the elected officials, although the position is generally put in our pay grade and step structure, and then a salary is negotiated within that range for each person depending on their experience. That's how we've always done that.
That's how yours
And
and sheriffs
Correct.
are.
Correct, and the recorder as well, and the auditor prior to this. That's what I can tell
Thank
you.
you. But
And
we
this is
do
the
have
only
then
one we're not
precedent.
putting in the pay structure.
Yeah. So we have
So-
precedent, because that's how it currently is for you three.
Correct. It's, we're in the pay grade and step structure based on what our job descriptions are.
Sure.
And,
And what your requirements are.
correct.
Commissioner Buchan.
So, how does that correlate to the fact that we do have an election coordinator with that salary and where that position has responsibility over that elections coordinator?
Elections coordinator is at a grade 9 currently. The auditor, as the position stands right now with the job description that you guys approved, it comes in at an 8 when we rank it. So the elections coordinator, who's the full-time coordinator for the elections and assists with the board, secretary of the board, is a grade higher
For a full-time position?
for full-time
what-
versus the 8-hour
and
a month.
The part-time position?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock.
when we consider this motion we had with 45,000, is that plus benefits, plus health insurance, plus?
Yes,
Okay,
Yes,
so
it
it's
is.
not really 45,000.
No.
It's like 60 or whatever.
add another 35 to 40 onto that,
Okay.
depending
So now
on
you're in
what
the
they choose for
70
family.
You're in the 75,000
Mhm.
range, so that's certainly adequate to attract qualified candidates, I would think.
So where does that equate for the pay scale at a grade 8 versus a grade 9?
What is grade 8? I didn't bring that with.
Ballpark.
I believe it would be like 6% under. The pay grades are 6%. So from grade 8 to 9, it goes up 6%. And then the steps go across the arc.
Okay.
So repeat the motion.
My motion was to establish a minimum salary at $45,000 a year for the elected position of auditor.
Okay, any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
No.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
No, motion carries.
Then the next thing we have is page 2, commissioner approval of holidays. So every year we have the commission approve the next year's holidays. I would recommend that the commission approve the holidays the same as they were this year for 2026. So as they're listed on my memo.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
The third is Facilities Director appointment. I'm not sure if he's here. See him? Jacob Achenberg is our new Facilities Director. Today was his first day. Hopefully he comes back tomorrow. He seemed very excited about the position this morning when I talked to him. But we do need a formal appointment because he is a department head. So I'm asking for the commission to formally appoint
Move to
Jacob.
approve. Move to appoint.
Second.
Motion and a second to appoint Jacob as the facilities director. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock.
what step does that, what is it? What step does he move into?
I think we did an exception for him because he's coming with,
Experience.
what is it, 18, 20 years experience. So I think we put him into the upper range. I think it might be an 8 or 9 or 7, 8 or 9.
Okay, thank you.
Should I make that motion pending he does come back tomorrow?
He'll be back. Okay, any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Welcome aboard, Jacob.
And the next is, before we get into the treasurer stuff, I'm going to go to G on my list because that's an easier one. County Engineer Hall announced his retirement, and I think each of you got his retirement letter. Effective November 18th was the retirement letter. His last day will be January 2nd. We are requesting permission to post the county engineer position and post for 30 days because it's a director level position, and internal, external, unless other wishes from the
Move to
commissioner
approve.
portfolio holder.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve.
Question would be
Posting.
internal
30
and external?
Internal and external for
Yep.
30 days.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
One question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Posted for 30 days. Any issue, or do we have to do an interim for, because I'm guessing it's probably going to be a month, 3 weeks to a month before somebody comes in. Do we have to address an interim at that time, or should we worry about it after it closes, at that first commission meeting?
I think we should see what we get because I think we have some strong internal.
Okay.
We also have 2 senior county engineers, assistant county engineers, that would probably serve as the interim.
Perfect. Thank you.
So how long does it normally take from the time we close the applications, then we go through the interviews, and then we're going to do a background check, and then we're going to, how long does that process normally take?
It depends on the position. If we're talking law enforcement, it takes longer. If we're talking department heads, it takes longer because we have to do credit checks and we do more in-depth background checks. But your average position, once we close it, depending if we can get people on the panel and also get the interviews, we can usually turn it around maybe within 3 weeks. 3 weeks is a
Sounds about right, yeah.
is a good time frame.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next.
Now we're going to go to the Treasurer Finance Department items. And there's a long list here. Both the Treasurer and the Finance Director positions have been posted for 30 days. Those postings will be up at 12 noon on Monday, December 22nd. There was a delay in posting because we are moving from our Breezy HR system, recruitment and selection system, to our Paylocity recruitment and selection system, and these just happen to be right in the middle of that. So that there was a delay, but we have been getting applications or applicants for both positions. So we'll see what we get. The Finance Director and Treasurer have the signing authority for the Burleigh County financial accounts. We do need authorized signers. Right now, former Finance Director Jacobs is still on the accounts. We need to get him off. In order to do that, we need to appoint an interim treasurer because he was the interim treasurer. So for an interim treasurer, I was suggesting the deputy finance director, Taylor Schmidt, as the interim, and possibly having another signer, authorized signer on there, the accountant, who's in an exempt level position. So that would be that Britain, to have them have signing authority over the accounts.
Commissioners, I would agree with that.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to appoint Taylor as the interim and to add Britton as another signer. And then I take it Taylor would be the one doing the removing of the signatures for.
Yes, and I actually have a resolution that Taylor gave to me. It's pretty simple, but it does need to be signed by the Auditor Sponskowski, and the chairman, so that they can take it to the bank.
Okay, well,
them.
just have that available after the meeting.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Yes.
Commissioner Bob?
And then you did talk to both of those individuals, and they're good with that position change, or in the signer
Yes.
on interim? Okay, thank you.
Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Okay, and the second, included in your packet was an email from Taylor Schmidt, Deputy Finance Director, Interim Treasurer, requesting stipends for members of his staff. Diane Berger, the Administrative Assistant, Haley Wilder, the Accounts Payable Technician or Accounting Technician, Britton Rehab, the Accountant, and I also think that we should give Taylor a stipend as well for interim treasurer. He requests back pay. I don't agree. I think we need to go forward because two of these positions are hourly, and we would have to apply hours to back stipends, and I don't want to do that. It's not been our practice. So I'm bringing forward Taylor's request on his behalf for stipends.
Okay. You said you don't agree with doing that, and I understand.
Retroactively.
Retro.
Right, okay. So basically, what's the difference between a stipend and just giving them a raise? Because what I'm concerned with is we started this with a couple of other, and it just seems to continue growing. And, like apparently nobody gets paid enough around here.
Is that a motion?
No, I'm the chair, I can't make a motion, but, no, I just think that,
I agree.
when I go to work, I mean, I work, I don't, I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit with it. Commissioner Bakken, do you have something to say?
Do you have a range for stipend amount that you would propose?
We will do what we've done in the past.
In the past, okay.
Which is that right around the 10%. With the hourly, we'll have to do kind of what we did with our buildings and grounds tax because they're hourly. So we'll kind of figure in the raise, the temporary increase that way.
And so that's a temporary thing, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so now, that cease with the building and the grounds guys? Or are we still,
It will, I think we have is it 30 or 60 days after the facilities director comes on board for training.
okay, that sounds fair.
And then it will cease.
Okay, Commissioner Munson?
So Pam, the department is how many employees short? And that's part of the reason you're doing a stipend, because everybody's picking up additional work until we fill positions. Is that?
We have two positions in that department. The deputy auditor treasurer position was rolled into the treasurer position because you guys didn't want to add any positions. So the two we have open is the finance director and the treasurer. Those are the top two, unfortunately.
Right.
So everybody's having to pick up some of the other ones so that more of the top stuff can be done.
I would move to approve.
Second.
Move to approve.
What?
The stipend until.
Moving forward, not looking back.
Correct. Yeah, only looking forward. Because as Pam said, to go back to the hourly would not be a good thing. So just moving forward until we fill the two positions of finance director and treasurer.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
And the last thing is, I need clarification on the November 17th meeting for the temporary, what was it? Temporary contract employee. Temporary consultant employee is what was approved, but that's two different things.
Yeah.
And so I defined the three levels. You know, the consultant is a consultant, a 1099 arrangement. The temporary employee is just hourly only,
Right.
defined
Yep.
time
Yep.
period, and full-time is full-time.
Yep. She discussed this with me, and then I also had a discussion with the candidate that we were talking about. And he would be okay with the temporary employee. Originally, he had said he was interested in the insurance and the vacation and that sort of stuff if it was going to be a longer-term thing. But if it's a short term and we get some candidates, whether he applies or not for either of the positions is kind of irrelevant. He has a current part-time gig anyway, but he's retired. And so he would be okay with the temporary without the benefits. And I think that would make everything a lot easier if he was just came on as a temporary.
But I still need the scope. What's the title, and what are we going to have him do?
Well, I think with his qualifications, and that I explained that to him, that we've already been down the road of having a finance director that did not have a CPA. And since this is only a temporary thing as kind of an underfill with his high level of experience, I believe that he would fit in as a temporary finance director.
Without the CPA, can we do that? In the job description, Pam?
Well, we did that for
We
two. That's
can,
Robin and
as long as it's
Justin.
temporary and there's an end date
As long as
to
it's
it.
temporary, okay. Julie, did you have any concerns with that language? No?
No, I think one of the things you should consider, though, if you're putting him in that position, because that's a supervisor over that department, and as a temporary person, do you want him in charge of hiring and firing and things like that too? So you might want to limit some of those things and just, talk about that too.
Okay, I would suggest that we do exactly that and limit that authority to, that has to go through both HR and the portfolio holder, right off the bat. And I don't think I don't think he's coming in here looking to, fire
No.
people. You know, the goal is the management side of the office to make sure that, someone with that degree of experience is just providing some oversight for the short term.
And insight.
Insight, yeah. What can we improve on? These guys have been doing a great job. Don't let me make any false illusions here. They're doing a great job.
So the
However,
position-
they're relatively new to the business,
Right.
and we got somebody that's been in the business forever, the financial business, and
So it's more to make recommendations to the portfolio holder.
yeah,
going forward
and the
to-
board. I
to
mean,
the
yeah,
commission.
yeah. But I don't think there shouldn't be any hiring and firing.
Directly from that.
Yeah, and the position reports to the portfolio holder, whoever that might be. It's irrelevant.
So you need to amend that motion? Or
There hasn't been a motion yet.
No.
So I would make the motion to move forward with the temporary position with those constraints on condition of employment.
Okay.
Does that work for you, Pam?
That'll work.
Okay.
You're comfortable?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Thanks for all that hard work too, Pam. Okay, County Elections Coordinator Larson, 2026 precincts and polling locations. Welcome, Tom.
Good evening, Chair Bittner and Commissioners. This evening, I'm requesting the approval of the precincts and the polling locations for the 2026 elections. Century Code requires the county commission to set precincts by December 31st, the year preceding an election, and polling locations are required to be set by the 64th day before the election. Burleigh County traditionally has set both at the same time. We have no changes to our precincts, and we have one polling location change. To improve accessibility for voters, we are moving the polling location held at the Hillside Aquatic Center to Bismarck Baptist Church. There is a list of the polling locations and precinct descriptions, as well as a proposed resolution in the packet, and I recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. I remember at one time there was a discussion with concerning a change to whether it was a polling location or something that involved either the city or the individual parties. I don't remember which it was. Do you
I'm
know
not
anything
sure
about that?
what you're looking at. I know that in terms of polling locations within the city limits, typically the city does determine or have a say in that. Because of our JPA with the city, we are able to do that.
Sure, and I would hope that's what has
Yep.
happened. I was just trying to make sure that if there was somebody else that needed to be in on that decision, that they were already in on it.
I do know that Mark did speak with some of the legislators that were in that district, just to make sure that that move was okay, and got the blessing from that. Hillside Aquatic had some problems. The handicap parking was quite a bit away,
Yeah,
and it's on the second floor. Yeah.
Sure, okay. Okay, any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes,
Thank
motion
you.
carries. Thank you, Tom. Okay, you got a commission continued items, you got a garrison diversion letter, page 73 to 76. Commissioner Schwab, you want to jump on that?
Yeah, I've been jumping on it for a long time. I would like two things added to this letter. The fact that the county can't give out grants, and by giving them money, they can grant any way they please, and it's kind of a runaround of the legality of us giving grants. Am I making that clear? No, obviously. You do have grants in there.
And that's regarding, it looks like what we've received through the diversion project.
Yeah, but at the last meeting, that's why I asked you if Burleigh County can give out grants. And you said no, but they're forcing us to break the law by giving them money, they can go around the barn here.
But they can.
Okay, so which of these, there's a letter with a petition, but then there's a resolution. How come is there two separate?
Because there has to be a resolution from the county commission to ask to be withdrawn. And that resolution has to be certified and sent with the petition requesting that we
Okay.
withdraw.
Okay,
And
so-
so the law requires both of them.
Okay, good. Because in the resolution, it specifies that question about the grants. It says, whereas the district has awarded grants that are outside the scope of the original intent of the district. Are you looking to elaborate on that?
Yes,
Okay, I get it now.
that we're not allowed to give money for grants.
Okay.
We're going around the barn to give
And they're
grants.
turning around and doing what we can't legally do, right?
Yep, so we let them do it for us.
Well, they can do it. That's the thing.
But the thing about it is, if we're aware of it, we shouldn't be giving them money.
Well, how can they do it if we can't?
Because they're authorized to do that. And just because they're getting their money from the county doesn't mean they're limited to the spending like the county. Otherwise, we would have to dictate to them how they're spending the money. Like, when you take money in and you're going to spend it out, the county commission, sets how the county's money is going to be spent. We're collecting money for them. It's not it's not our money. They levy their own taxes. They have their own laws that apply to them. So it's county taxpayer money that's going to them. It's not coming from our budget, it's coming from their budget, and we collect it for them. And so it's not our money that they're dispersing. It's taxpayer money that they're dispersing, and they're allowed to do that through their provisions.
Just like we collect for the city.
Somebody was
Correct.
pretty slick when they set that up, huh?
Well, just like we collect for the city and the park district and other political subdivisions, that we have no say in how they spend money.
Oh, I get that part.
Yeah. And we're just collecting it for them. We're not levying those taxes ourselves.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Just doesn't make it right.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Woodcock.
Clarification, what did we do with these two? What have we done with the resolution and the petition? We postponed it, is that correct? Waiting
Yep.
for more information from Garrison Diversion? Is that right? Is that where we're at?
From,
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Buck.
And they've been in contact. They want to meet, so they're having their regional water meetings, I believe, the 9th through the 11th. So around that, they want to meet with us, and as per conversation, Commissioner Munson wants to be part of those conversations as well, so they're going to forward me some prospective times to meet with them, and I'll coordinate with Commissioner Munson to do just that.
So what's the goal of that meeting?
Well, I think they want to make their case on the financial side, which I'm good either way with what we do. Either we can table that resolution for the next meeting until after we have that meeting, or we can move it forward because the process by which they get to vote on whether or not they're inclined to release us from the agreement is up to them anyway. So it really doesn't make a difference one way or another. It's just we're going to have
Not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything. We're just going to have some more information from their perspective upon our future meeting next week. So.
It was an opportunity for us to learn a little bit
Yeah,
more.
it's more a learning session.
But Commissioner Bakken is correct. I don't think it's
They
going to
make
change.
they make
Right.
the decision.
They
on
make the
whether or not to
decision.
release us, and then we make the decision on whether we want to litigate.
Right.
On or not, depending on what that decision is.
Yep.
So.
Well, I'd like to see the petition and whatnot, just move forward, and then you guys can get more information from them and see, because I don't think they'd vote to let us out of the thing anyway.
Probably not, but.
Oh,
And I think that, see, what really, really bothered me about the whole thing is that we send them some $700 and some $1,000 a year, and we've only gotten, like, what, a max of
Maybe
all of.
50,000 a year?
Yeah, maybe.
Between all the entities in Burleigh County, 800,000.
Between all of the entities in Burleigh County, whether it's the city parks, or anybody else.
So in 4
800
years, your
$800
$3.5 million project's paid for, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Burleigh Water got a lot of money back when
Had
they
nothing
first
to do
formed.
with them.
What do you mean? It's Burleigh
That-
County. Water is it? Burleigh County
That-
rural
it-
water?
Did you read this?
Yeah,
This
read what?
information here is that information, that funding was from the federal government. The Garrison diversion
Well,
was
they
just
get
a
a lot of money
pass-through.
from federal government.
That was
so
just a pass-through.
It still
They
came.
they
from them.
We're
didn't
paying-
get the money for them.
Yeah, we're paying for their administrative costs to go lobby for money coming into the state of North Dakota.
Correct.
Is what it equates to. And like I said last meeting, there's a lot of value in it, but why are our taxpayers shouldering the load for benefiting the entire state of North Dakota? It needs to be a better program.
Mhm.
I really appreciated your opinion last meeting where it should be a statewide.
Should be.
Yeah, it clearly should be.
There's different congressional legislation that precludes, or it's part of the way it's set up, but I think the value that it brings into the state, it should be reworked to be a state program. I mean, not that I would like it any better, but if everybody participated equally and had an outcome equally, then I do see value there. But I've talked to some other counties that are in Garrison that aren't really happy the way that the funding process works either. So, and they're watching very closely what we wind up doing.
So then when you guys have this meeting, I would like for you to get clarification Because during the meeting, when the Conservancy District was making a presentation, they told us that they're currently irrigating 1,400 acres in Burleigh County. And then I got an email like the next day or two or something later that had information from them in print, you know, their brochure, that said that they're irrigating 54 acres in Burleigh County. So somehow or another, the information in print versus what we were told was certainly not the same.
I think the difference is what's eligible versus what's being utilized.
Well, that sounds like a
Yeah.
smoke screen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But if you can kind of clarify that
Certainly.
in this meeting. Because I can tell you 700 and however many thousand, whatever 1 mil is, what's that, 700 and,
Probably around 740,000 this year.
or $740,000.
We could dig a ditch for that.
Yeah, we could do a lot with that. Well, like you said, his project down here along the river, it's just, 4 years and we got that paid for.
Right.
And just that amount, so. Is there a motion in here somewhere?
It's on the table already. We haven't removed it from the table.
No, there was.
No.
Yeah, it was just.
Last meeting, we tabled it. That's why I asked the question, where are we at?
Right.
And you said we've tabled it.
So,
So it's still on the table.
right.
And we have to remove it from the table to discuss it, really, but no big deal.
Does that take a motion then?
Yes, it does.
Really? Okay, so, since we were discussing it, then I guess.
Untable it.
Okay,
You remove to remove it from the table for discussion, is what you do.
okay. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, now is there another motion concerning what we're gonna do with it?
I move we send a letter.
Just
Quit fooling around. Quit fooling
parts
around.
to it, so.
The resolution and the letter.
The resolution and the letter. The whole enchilada.
The whole enchilada.
By certified mail, they sign for it.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second? I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second for discussion, further discussion.
Okay. Motion and a second. Further discussion. You want to go or you want to go? Okay, Commissioner Woodcox?
One thing we've been hanging our hat on for 6 months or 2 years, whatever it might be, is the value we receive from the membership, and it's a membership, I think, it's not a, well, it doesn't make any difference. Anyway, the amount of money we donate to the district, we're comparing that with what we receive monetarily. Well, we're considering, I think that's the wrong attitude, we're considering a boat ramp repair or replacement of $2 million. What do we get in return for that monetarily? We get very little. I mean, so you've got to compare apples to apples. Are we going to get any return from that $2 million? Are we going to get monetary return from the money we're putting in the fairgrounds? Are we going to get a return from the nursing service that we donate to? I shouldn't say donate, but we taxpayers pay to. Are we going to get a monetary return from that? It's kind of an unfair comparison, I think.
Well,
are we? Are we getting any return?
No, I don't think we are. We're not getting any monetary return from a $2 million how many people use that? How much money comes in? No, we're not getting any. That's a lot of money that the government spends.
Yeah.
You don't get in return monetarily.
Well,
Any government, not just us.
I think you're not talking about the right thing there, Commissioner. His project that he's referring to has to do with reclaiming and reestablishing the riverbank and preventing erosion and whatnot. It has nothing to do with a boat ramp. So if we were,
Well, there's a boat ramp there,
but it's got to be removed. See,
Right.
it's not about putting
Well,
one
now you're
in.
arguing
So,
about the specific project. Go to move.
well, you were the one that brought it up, Commissioner. So,
Move to the health department. We're donating, what do we pay there? 600,000?
$600,000.
What monetary value do we get back from that? None.
We're required to have it.
we're required to have it, and it has to do with the health of the public, I guess.
Yep.
So
Well,
there's,
There's justification for every project we get into, otherwise we better not be getting into it. What are we getting value back from the 18 million we're spending on the Provident building? What are we getting back? No rent here. what else are we getting back? Monetarily. Well, there isn't any. You sit there and grin, there
Yeah.
isn't any.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're not comparing the right things.
Part of my issue is going back and comparing what the original mission of Garrison was and what it's become. And I see a lot of value to Garrison, but again, it's for the state of North Dakota, not for Burleigh County taxpayers. We're just not seeing that. We're not seeing a return on the investment. And while I don't have a problem with having a statewide, state-operated program for the benefit of all counties in the state, I do have a problem with why are we paying for projects across the state that the whole state's not shouldering?
Sure.
And I understand the value with Garrison from a state perspective and what it brings on the federal level from a lobbying perspective and what it brings back to the state. But we're not getting it. And why should we pay for the benefit of the entire state? You take a look at the project that's taking place right now in Cass County with the Fargo diversion. And look at what's getting pumped into that, federal dollars and state dollars. It facilitated in part by Garrison diversion, but we're not getting any benefit for that. You know, I go back to the original mission, and I would think that the current Burleigh County Commission that asked to join that, the original counties, had that original intent or that original mission in mind when they signed up for that. And that's not the mission anymore. So I think it's incumbent upon this commission to review that and see what it looks like for Burleigh County residents, because that original intent and that original mission isn't there anymore. So does the county want to be part of that without the opportunity for that original mission to be fulfilled?
Yeah.
That's
I think that's a real good point, Commissioner, because had we created irrigation and whatnot throughout Burleigh County, I think I mentioned that at the meeting, like they did over in Montana. They've got ditches and water's flowing all the time. And anybody that's along there can irrigate their crops and grow, and I believe that's probably what the commissioners at the time were looking at, because back in those days, well, even today, water is life. I mean, you know, if you can irrigate, I mean, that's something. But here we are, how many years later after starting this thing or being involved in this thing, and we got like a road ditch up there by Wilton someplace?
yeah. Well, it's not like the
50
McCluskey
acres.
Canals, which was part of the original mission, ever got finished.
Mhm. Yeah, and so I'm thinking, well, at some point, somebody just decided to quit. They go, well, we got this money laundering thing going on and didn't need to dig a ditch or what? I don't know. So anyway, any other, Commissioner Schwab?
Number one is the data that we got, the numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. We're not getting a return. And I, for one, will tell you that I cannot, in good conscience, penalize the people in this county and not try to get them out of this money drain. To me, I would be shirking my duty. I mean, you know, you sit there, pretty soon it's going to be $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll be 1.5 million. All that money could go into our economy. And the people would get that money, not the county. It just gets wiped off their statement. And they can spend it the way they please. I've had calls of people that have $18, $19, $21. And they say, well, why are we paying this? Well,
Commissioner Bach?
You know, Commissioner Schwab brings up a really good point. Look at what the value, just go back from 22 to today, what the value of a mill is in Burleigh County. And it's sizable, and they're taking a full mill for Garrison diversion. So when you take a look at what that value of a mill is, look where that mission started when Burleigh County first signed up to what that value of that mill is now. And that can't be overlooked as well. I mean, that It is a big
wonder what
burden.
that is, huh?
It is a big burden on taxpayers. It's gone up over $250,000 from what I went back and looked at.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at that value of that mill, that's another thing to take into consideration when you start talking about how much money this is costing taxpayers for Burleigh County. Because when it comes to budget time, we all sharpen the pencil and cut as much as we can. Even some stuff I don't always agree with cutting, but we cut as much as we can. And for us not to look at this, we're not doing Burleigh County residents a good service.
Mr. Chair.
Auditor, can you get us information on what the mill levy value was when that first started?
I'll have it in a few seconds.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Munson?
To expound on a couple things that Commissioner Bakken had said, do they have to have a mill? In what we voted on and what was approved was up to a mill. And as Commissioner Bakken has said, we have done everything in our power to make sure we reduce our levy to our taxpayers. Every year, we go around this table and work very hard to reduce that levy. What are they doing to reduce theirs? And do they have to have a full mill every year? What justification have they given to anybody within the Garrison Conservancy District that they need that full mill to make sure they have the money needed? I think Commissioner Schwab has said it too as well. They have reserve accounts.
We're paying their operating costs
Right.
for their administration.
Well, exactly.
Well, I think their assets are what, 90-some million, and their
93.
reserves was 18 or 19? 19 million?
You know, what we should do, you know, that they count
Do you have
that canal up there as an asset.
Oh,
Doesn't do anything. Give it to them and say, we're out.
It's
Well,
big-
when Bismarck,
We don't want it, do we?
when Bismarck and Burleigh County flooded, it would have been awfully advantageous to take
Open
some
up
top
the
off
valve,
of,
yeah.
open up the damn canal, and,
Yeah.
and it would have taken some top off.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. What was that?
So the amount that was levied in 1989, which was the first full year that we levied for it, it was $58,200.
And that was a full mill?
That was the
50.
value of
Say
the
that
mill
again,
that was.
58,000?
$58,200.
In what year?
1989. The year previous to that, 1988, it was 57,712, but I believe that it was 3/4 of a mill. It was not a full mill the first year.
Okay, so we've gone in this short amount of time, what, 45 years, 50, 47 years or something? From 58,000 to 750,000.
125%.
Well, you guys are gonna meet with them. Okay, any other discussion on the motion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
No.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
No.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, item number 14, well, I think that's on there just because we have applications. Okay. And I think the current terms of office expire at the end of December?
Correct.
Or-
For most of the positions, their term ends at the end of December. So I was directed by the commission at the last meeting to present all applications at every meeting as we go. So these are the ones that I currently have. The commission doesn't have to appoint anybody at this time if they don't want to. You can wait till the next meeting because it'll be on the 17th if you so wish.
My personal preference would be to wait and encourage additional, unless you guys have any other concerns.
I'm excited to see all the planning and zoning.
I'm very happy about that. How many positions are coming open here on the planning and zoning?
3, I believe.
3.
Yep.
Can you run through the open positions and let people know how to apply?
Off the top of my head, there's a few positions open in the planning department. There's 2 positions open in the school redistricting board as well. And then there's also a member, 1 or 2 members in the water resource district board as well. And then there was the one for the the human service zone, but the commission went ahead and voted to not fill that position. And then if anybody wants to see what positions are available, that's available on the website, Burleigh County website. And if you look under auxiliary boards, there's an application, a PDF fillable application right on our website.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll put that on the agenda for the next county commission
Mr.
meeting.
Chairman?
Commissioner Woodcock.
There's a couple on here that, I'm on the water board, and the couple of applications are for reapplying for two members who were on there already and have not fulfilled their total number of years. Jim Landenberger and Mike Reap is the other one. I got them here someplace. And I would like to have them, they're both professionals in the business. They know what they're doing. They're doing an excellent job. And I want to reappoint both of those.
You don't want to wait for more applicants?
We've had over a month for applicants, so.
Well, I still think it's not going to make any difference if we do it today or at the next meeting.
I don't want to lose them.
They're not going anywhere. In regards to those, how long, I thought I saw something where one of them's been on there quite a while.
Yeah, James has been on since 17. I don't know what the max is.
12.
12 years.
So the
I wanna wait out. I made a motion, so I'm waiting on it.
I'll second it.
Okay. They're both excellent candidates. We won't get any better, I don't think. If you want to wait, vote it down, I don't care. I think it's foolish if we wait.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Another, Mr. Chairman, another one of my portfolios is the rural school district. And our, Brant Dick, our superintendent of schools, he goes out and recruits people to be on that redistricting or reassigning of school districts, whether they want to join Bismarck or not. But it's a tough position. He does the recruiting, and I visited with him, and he's looking to find two candidates. So the applications are still available if somebody wants this, but we have none in here. But he usually does zone recruiting, so that's still in the mill.
Okay, good for him. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, next, any other business for the good of Burleigh County? Commissioner Bakken.
Commissioner Schwab, this should make you happy. I've given up on Summit.
I was
I think
wondering
they're
when you
here.
were
They were
going
here.
to say
I think
that.
they were here, they left.
But I do have one thing to say about, I should have said it when we were discussing it in Garrison Eversion. I really have a struggle with government from the state pushing Summit on to people in this county. I have a problem with Garrison Eversion hosing the county taxpayers. It's kind of sad that we're in a position as a county to clean up this mess, and we have to fight the state, Garrison Eversion, and the federal government gets to abandon the original intent, and we can't. So, you know, I really have a problem with that. And everybody thinks, well, you know, they're good guys and stuff. Well, I can be a good guy once in a while, and they're not going to give me a mill to spend every year. So that's any other business.
Well, I think just to dovetail on that is, I think what we're in the process of doing is making sure that we're identifying mission creep.
Yep.
When it comes to these programs. And if you're not reviewing, even if something's working well for you, if you're not reviewing it on a regular basis, you're not going to guarantee that you're getting the best value for the taxpayers. So I think that's what we are in the position of doing, and I think we're most of the time doing a pretty good job of that. So.
All right, well, I have to agree with you, Commissioner, because I don't think the existing thing with that Garrison diversion is anything like what was sold to whoever the county commissioners were at the time. Because that doesn't match with what I've seen around the countryside, like we've talked, you know, I think everybody was thinking, hey, irrigation for the county, good. And all these years later, and we're getting a few drops. It's a failed mission. Not just mission creep, it's total change. Anything else for the good of Burleigh County? We are adjourned. Thank you, John.